officiating, I'll be moving an amendment to the Honourable John Ruddick's question in referring it to Portfolio Committee 5 by removing that part where it says this bill be referred to Portfolio Committee number 5, Justice and Communities for Inquiry and Report by 27th of March 2026, and instead inserting that this bill be referred to a select committee for inquiry and report, and 2, that notwithstanding anything to the contrary in the standing orders, the committee consists of 9 members comprising of 3 government members, 3 opposition members, 3 crossbench members, 3, that the committee elect a chair and deputy chair at its first meeting, 4, that unless the committee decides otherwise, A, all inquiries are to be advertised via social media, stakeholder emails, media release distributed to all media outlets in New South Wales, B, submissions to inquiries to be published and subject to the committee check clerk for confidentiality and adverse mention, and where those issues arise, bringing them into the attention of the committee for consideration. C, attachments to submissions that remain confidential. D, chair's proposed witness list to be circulated to provide members with an opportunity to amend the list, with the witness list agreed to by email, unless a member requests the chair to convene a meeting to resolve any disagreement. I can continue to go on with the very standard format for a select committee, or I can just...
I think we might say that a copy will be available.
Copy will be available for a clerk. And just to briefly speak to that, I would say that I've outlined some very serious questions that need to be asked about how these terrorists got hold of or given firearms licences. Many others have posed those questions. There are obviously concerns from the Greens around the terrorism part of the bill and the protest part of the bill as well. The Albanese government has said that they don't support a federal royal commission. They've made that quite clear. They did that after about an hour after I called for one. About 12 hours after I called for a royal commission, the Premier came out and said he supported a state-based royal commission. So the Premier clearly understands there are unanswered questions that need to be have answers to. So why are we rushing a bill through when we don't have those answers? We need to look at this in detail. Now, I respect that many would have an aversion to the bill going to the inquiry chair or the committee chaired by my colleague, even though that is the most appropriate place in terms of portfolio responsibilities. That's why I flagged that here is a potential alternative that might be more amenable to others. I would also say that even after I've raised these questions in Parliament this morning, the Commissioner has then come out and tried to muddy the waters again in the media by saying the reason why the licence application took 3 years is because the registry has been a shambles, it's been paperwork, paper-based applications for a long time. Well, the reality is, years before any of these events occurred, it was paper-based. And never in those years did it take 3 years to approve a licence. Never. Even when the Assistant Commissioner would tell us in my office, when he referred to the database, he called it a big black bucket. And he would tell us, Mark and Rob, everything that goes in that big black bucket doesn't necessarily come out in the order that it started in. What I'm trying to explain is the need for this, the need for a inquiry, which is going to the unanswered questions. So the Commissioner has once again muddied the waters. That is why we need an inquiry. Okay? We need answers. And the Commissioner and the Premier keeping dribbling out answers, or so-called answers, is not the right way to do about it.
Order. There being 7 ayes and 33 noes, the question is resolved in the negative. Unlock the doors.